We got a busy news day here on this Tuesday. Coming to you live today from Amarillo, Texas. I'm outside the Big Famous Steakhouse, but we're not in there today. We will be popping in there later on this trip, probably next month, toward the end of the month after the holidays. I look forward to that visit. That was one of the most fun shows I've ever done out west. But just hanging out here in kind of blazing hot. AJ, I just had to run outside and chase two dogs down in the heat. It was my fault. I left the door open. Left door open.
They were like, steak! Steak.
Oh, yeah, you can smell it from here, too. And they're like, we don't want to listen to this damn show again. Because they're always trapped in here with me, and I'm just yelling into this stick that's standing here. They just stare at me the whole time like, he's out of his mind. He's out of his mind.
He's not playing with that stick? Why is he talking to it?
He doesn't even bite it or anything.
He should just go bury it somewhere. I mean, like, come on.
I went to stick my head outside. I just wanted to see what was going on out there. It's a little breezy, but it's just kind of that more searing hot than what we get back home. And, dude, they just took off. And I'm like, I got 3 minutes to chase these bastards down before I got to get back on the air, and I caught them. So here we are. They just laying here looking at me again. They did not get out of Shawshank. You stuck. Okay, all right, Floor Tech. Let me talk about them real quick as we get cranked up this hour. We'll get more of your phone calls in. We've already had one of our candidate call. Jared Hudson called in last hour. We may hear from some others this afternoon as y'all are heading out to the polls. This concrete floor thing, let me tell y'all a story. I think I told it yesterday. As I'm in a flurry of just activity trying to get everything packed up and on the road, I grabbed this little fluid pump. I was packing up some tools. From time to time, you got to, fill up things and pour things. I was looking for this little pump that I have, a little hand pump. I grabbed the wrong one, and it was full of hydraulic fluid from a previous project, and I didn't know it. And I just dripped hydraulic fluid from the back of the RV all the way to the front in the garage, in the barn, on that concrete floor and out the door. First thing I thought about was Floor Tech concrete coatings. I've not had that floor coated because it's a relatively new project, and I've kept the floor mostly clean. But stuff like that happens when you have concrete. It's porous. You get oil on it. It's really never coming out. You can try degreaser. It can degrade the integrity of the concrete. You're going to spill paint. You're going to spill whatever. For me, I'm going to spill coffee everywhere. So that's what the Floor Tech product is for. And there's another part to their story. It's that most of these floor coverings, these concrete coatings, fail. And for years they've failed. I did my own project years ago that eventually just didn't stick the way it should have, and it faded and yellowed because in the old days, all of the other companies really put impurities to sort of thin out the product and make it easier to apply and stretch out the coating. They'll put solvents in it, and that degrades the quality of it, and then it sort of fails on you. Kevin at Floor Tech, this is a local company. He's been involved in many, many successful businesses. They said, let's just make a better product. So they researched it and came up with a better product. And all they did was really take the impurities out of the base product that you really want on your concrete floors, whether it's a garage, which a lot of people have, or like me, a barn-type facility with a concrete floor, retail spaces, and you want that floor looking good and it to stay like you want it, it's Floor Tech concrete coatings. You can pick your own colors, and I don't mean they got 4 or 5 samples. They've got a little, I guess it's mostly an iPad, and there's a little fader on it, you know what I mean, a little slider, and you sort of slide that thing till you get it the exact color you want and decide how much flake you want in it. And they'll go and put all that together with, on their quality base and come out and get it installed. And they back it up for the life of your home or your business. They back it. If you sell your home, the guarantee goes with it. They know it's going to last. It's going to last longer than you do. And for some of you, it ain't that long. I understand. Floor Tech concrete coatings. Y'all reach out to them and let them come demonstrate. They'll show off for you. They've got a neat example of why their product is just denser and more pure, and it's impressive stuff. It's like a little chemistry class you take. It's floortechcoatings.com. Put a K in tech when you reach out to them. TEK, floortechcoatings.com. All right, real quick, markets closed as you would expect, up today. Not as up as they were at one point, but the Dow just under 52,000. It hit record territory, closed up 328 points. NASDAQ was down today. They had a crazy day yesterday. Some of that's got to do with the SpaceX stuff and some other things that are going on. So a little mixed on the other platforms. Let me check before I get into these other stories. Let me check the commodities markets one more time. Well, I thought I had all that pulled up. Here we go. Yeah, oil was about 77 at the close. I'll have to double check that. And there's some aftermarket trading where the price will keep moving around. Y'all, it's back in the 70s. That's normal territory. Our prices at the pumps are going to seem more reasonable. It'll take a while for the cheaper oil to get refined. You know, these are futures contracts. I keep explaining this and trying to sometimes oversimplify it so we can all follow. But, I mean, I try to explain it so I can understand it. Does that make sense? So the price you're seeing today is for contracts that are bought today for delivery in the future. So that oil has to be bought on those contracts, brought in on those days, taken to refineries, put through that system, then delivered all the way to your gas station. So the price you're seeing today won't work its way back in until all that supply is burned through and these prices are executed. But it's coming, and we know it's coming, and it's coming probably sooner rather than later. And that's good news. Oil has already been trending down. Gas at the gas stations is coming down. And I have no doubt that we're going to see sub $3 on a gallon of gas probably within a few weeks, and maybe even down close to $2 toward the end of summer. You've got a demand spike this time of year, too, that'll play into that. So good news all around, and especially if the peace deal works. I'm still dubious. I don't trust the Iranian regime. But I do think the Iranian people may get a chance now that the cover of the war is off the table for the Iranians, even trying to deal with their own people right now. And that could ultimately be good news for them with this weakened central government. We'll talk about that more later. 545-9950 if you want to get on the show tonight, bring it. What are the polls looking like? I had to vote absentee. I don't know. I'm hearing 10% turnout from different sources. It was expected to be light. I don't know who that favors in the various races. I just don't. I could make cases for both. Sometimes you would have, it's more the establishment, hardcore activist types that'll turn out on days like today with a low turnout. That may bode well, for example, for the Barry Moore campaign, because that's kind of his crowd. It's every friend I have that's in active politics seems to be on that side. Some of the upstarts and rebels out there that are friends of mine that just want to shake the system up are on obviously on Team Hudson. And we'll see where it all lands tonight as they do the counting. After 7 o'clock, you still got time to get the polls. You got a little less than 4 hours before they close. The biggest story of the day, though, nationwide, and I hate that we blow these stories off if they're interdicted, but there was a terror attempt by some disgruntled Americans, these little dweeby-ass white boys that think they're revolutionaries that were concocting a plan to try to create a terror attack on the UFC fight last Sunday. And we've got more and more details coming out. And a couple of other stories of the same kind of disturbed individuals in the news doing dumb things, and I'll get to some of those too. Man, the New York Post has put a piece out a little while ago with a few more details, mugshots and pictures of these bastards. So allegedly the mastermind was some guy named, his name is Michael Allen Thomas of Pennon Hills in California. And he was working through encrypted signal chats with others that he had recruited. They refer to themselves as hunters. And they had created basically a terror network. This is not unlike what you would see ISIS or Al-Qaeda or these other amateurs that decide they're going to take on and take a shot at the great Satan, as these people don't hate the country any less than ISIS would. And so they wanted to, as by now you know, attack the UFC event by using drone technology to attack buildings near the White House, knowing that they probably couldn't get a drone into that space with all the defense systems that were set up. And then with that diversion and that distraction, create a panic that would force an evacuation. And then they would use rifles to kill people from sniper positions. Basically, in the military, they kind of refer to that kind of situation as a kill box, where everybody's funneled and trapped, and it's just fish in a barrel. So that was their plan, and then there's supposedly a follow-on attack planned on the White House itself. There are as many as 23 people connected to the chats. There have been, right now, as of this hour, 5 arrests. They've gotten a couple of other people, a guy named Brian Omar Roa from California, another fat bastard from Cincinnati. Looks like if the Keebler Elves had a little fat cousin, little bald-headed sort of fat cousin. This would be this guy. And some of them had moved into position in Fredericksburg, Virginia. They caught them with rifles, with tactical gear. They're photographs that presumably were taken from their phones and some other sources of them training out on ranges with military hardware. I see one with night vision goggles, and one had a AR-style, sort of bullpup style. Some people call them bully pup style AR, real short, compact unit. I've got one of these. Had it decorated, sort of painted with American flag design on it. They confiscated that. They meant business. They had ammo. They had the weapons. They had a plan. They had aerial surveillance. They had communications. And the FBI got a 2-day notice on the 10th before this event, basically a 2-day notice before this event on the 14th to track down this thing and interdict it, and they did, and good for them. And if you believe the storytelling is of this hour, it was an alert mother who let the FBI know that her son had gone off the rails and had taken a gun, and she thought he was going to do something. And somehow, I believe it was local authorities that she contacted. I believe this, and a little bit of this is confusing to me. Again, if y'all be patient with me, I was driving most of the day before the show, so I'm still playing a little bit of catch up in the reading of this stuff. But she let the local police know that worked immediately with the feds, see something, say something. They stopped what would have been, I don't think there's any doubt, they had the ability to try to carry this out without any further warning. I don't know what their skills were, but they had the planning and the desire. So what's the motive? Hard to know. Right now they seem like these typical Antifa, hate America, hate capitalism, throwing out the Bernie Sanders lines and the AOC lines about billionaires. It's the same mentality where they feel justified in attacking others in public life because they disagree with them. It's amazing that this is being fostered, and there's such animosity among people who think like this. On the legal side of things, they're electing communists and socialists to municipal positions in this country. And on the militant side, they're out actually attempting to, and in some cases, assassinating people, like the healthcare CEO from United Healthcare, cold-blooded, now has a cult following. The Charlie Kirk assassination, I can keep going. Many of these, the attempts on Trump's life, and others, the dude that tried to hit the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And we've got surveys. We've got public polling that show kids of a certain age, I think it's under 35, it's close to 50%, will generally agree with a general statement that it's okay to commit violence on behalf of your political beliefs. This is pure indoctrination. These kids have been steeped in this stuff since they were in school. Public schools have failed us on this front. Social media adds gas to it. There's so much ignorance out there, and these people don't even realize the beauty of the country we live in and the values that we hold. Europeans are figuring it out. They're coming here being stunned by this country. Unbelievable coverage from these folks from all over the world, Asians and others that are seeing in America they never heard of. They thought they'd heard of it, but all this negative stuff, they're coming here and finding out it's not true. We're better than that. This is a beautiful place with amazing people. I'll tell you one contrast I saw somebody else point out, and I think it's poignant. You had, say, in American sports, you have the NBA, the Knicks win for the first time in whatever, 58 years. And what do? They trashed the city, flipped over court. Not everybody, but they trashed their own city after they won their own match. Not the first time we've seen that. Then there's the spectacle the other day of the Japanese World Cup fans who were caught on camera when their match was over cleaning up the stadium on their way out, picking up their own trash and leaving things better than they found it. What a contrast in cultures and societies where some people are just raised right and care about their fellow man and appreciate what's around them and live decently, and some don't. And we're in a country right now that's divided along those lines. You got people that behave and act like animals, and you've got decent people. I hope the decent people win. These people they rolled up in this terror plot are indecent. And then you've got stuff associated with that. We got this little jackass. There was a cross burning in Chicago. And if I didn't know any better, I'd think the SPLC did it themselves, because we got a story about them today too. Let's get all into it, and then we'll take a break. So somebody burns a cross. Okay, you see a burning cross in America in 2026, I will almost guarantee you that it was not the Klan, There is no Klan. It was not a white supremacist. It was fake. I almost promise you, every time you see these things, a noose, the N word painted on something, a cross burning, it was not us. It was not anybody on the center or to the right. It never is. It's always a fake, symbolic hate crime set up by one of these weirdos that need villains. They need this stuff to be going on so they can justify their violence and their angst. They're looking for a predicate for all that. And sure enough, this little Asian, this gay Asian anti-capitalist Trump hater named Merlin Liu is the one that set the fire. He burned a cross. He burned it to go after MAGA and the fascists. Oh, really? Yeah, they caught him. It wasn't. Come on, man. They're all Jussie Smollett now. And then you got the SPLC. Let's talk about them. The newest story with them. One of their staffers and head of their counterintelligence unit or whatever. This big old chubby lady that worked for the Southern Poverty Law Center was banging one of the Nazi informants that had infiltrated some of these groups. They were living together. She transferred $1.2 million to him to help him with this thing while he was putting it to her. SPLC. This woman was a ranking officer with that group and getting it on with a Nazi or a Klanman or whatever. Talk about between the sheets. Which sheets? There's a lot of sheets going on in that story. What a bunch of losers. And I'm telling you, they've got to fake these attacks. There was just one in Mississippi at a college. I can name you 30 of them of late where people just create their own enemies so they can knock them over and have something to complain about and give themselves victimhood status because we somehow evolved into a culture that it's more, I guess, prideful or heroic to be oppressed or a victim than it is to actually be heroic, than to be a victor, than to be a winner, than to work hard, than to be a champion. It's more lauded in their world and in their thought process to be a whiny-ass bitch who constantly needs to be put upon so that they can justify their own anger and hate for the world because they can't make good decisions. You got a lot of people that just stupid, and they breed stupid kids, and they keep doing the same stupid things, and then when life doesn't work out for them, it's everybody else's fault, and they demand to steal your money through taxation or straight-up armed robbery or attack you violently because their life sucks. We got to beat this back somehow, and I hope they roll up the rest of these people with this plot. There is a whole cabal of them. They had the SPLC for validation and coordination to build an infrastructure in the mainstream media to give them volume, the university systems to indoctrinate them, the social media atmosphere to pour gas on it. They talk to each other. I heard a comedian the other day said the worst thing about social media is dumb people can now talk to each other. They can now get together and share their dumb ideas. That's exactly right. Before, they used to have to hang out with the rest of us, and they'd say something stupid, and we'd smack them. And now they can go hide and get online and find their counter brothers. Next thing you know, they've got a revolutionary terror organization they've created. What a weird world. 323, Leland Live, Douglas Cooling and Heating. Man, do we need them nowadays. With this heat and humidity, it's summertime in Alabama, and it's life or death. If you don't have a good system in your home, let them come take care of it, whether it's a tune-up, a cleanup, or just a new install. By the way, if you know that thing's going to have to be installed, you need to do it in a controlled setting, not in an emergency setting. Trust me on that one. Douglas can come do it for you. Again, second opinions, the cleanings, the service, all of those things, new installs, emergency work, plumbing. Call Douglas.com, CALL Douglas.com. License number 2017181. Call Douglas.com. Let's go, let's go, let's go. You know, car breakdowns are the worst. They're just the worst. Anytime there's a car breakdown, it's terrible, especially if you're a long way from home. That's why I wasn't going to take a chance on this road trip without having everything checked out. So I went through all the systems on the RV, had my friends over at Appalachian Foothills do that. We're going to be talking a lot about them the second half of the trip. And then there's, of course, with the Jeep that I have to pull around. And by the way, I hooked that thing up in Birmingham. I was still not taking it off. We pull over and we kind of overnight and knock the show out and move to the next town. And when we get ready to run that thing around, it has been gone through by Michael and his team at Tapco. And I have total peace of mind because there were some things that I wouldn't have known about. If I'd left out, I probably could have had a problem on the road out here in the hot deserts or out here in these other places that we'll be jeeping to. And they're just the experts. Tapco is downtown Birmingham, 6th Avenue South. Stands for Total Automotive Performance Company. They are the folks you want to work on your rides. Now, preventive maintenance, just like with your health and your home, and you've got to do this with our automobiles. So have them do your oil changes and the regular routine stuff. And then when something really goes wrong, you'll already have that relationship. You'll know exactly who to call. They'll know you. They'll get you in there. And if the light comes on or the noise it starts happening, that weird sound like, what the hell is that? What, this is going to be expensive. What is that? And you don't know who to trust with it. You can trust Michael and the folks down at Tapco. When you meet them, you'll get it. They've even got a courtesy shuttle, and they'll run you back to work if you get your ride to them that morning. It's one of those kind of projects. That's what they did for me. Took it down there for an oil change, said, hey, y'all go through it. And sure enough, they found several things that needed fixing. We got that done. Hit the road. I trust Michael. Tapco, downtown Birmingham. By the way, drop my name, get 10% off at Tapco. TAPCO, TapcoBham.com. Quick break, back in a minute. More. We'll go back to the phones, too. 545-9950. Lead on Live, Talk 99.5 from Amarillo, Texas. Look at AJ finding a new version of the song I didn't even know about. I love Charlie Crockett, and I love that song. Everybody, AJ, I told AJ this during the break. If you say the word Amarillo around any Southern white person, they start singing this song. They can't help it. It just say, "Where are you today?" "I'm in Amarillo," and they go, "Amarillo by morning." It's a true story. Hey, play the George Strait version later as well.
Okay, we'll do.
Little theme music here on the show tonight. Storm Restoration Roofing next up on the show. I love talking about Greg Nelson because I just like the guy. Isn't it nice to work with people and do things with people you like? And then it just happens to be he's an expert. He's a total expert at roof work. He's not even close. This man has been doing this stuff almost 30 years. And anytime I hear about a local family business, especially the ones that have the next generation training to keep the family business going, there's a lot to that. We've got, for example, Lonnius, they're 5 generations. I can keep going through a list of people here. My man Danny, the Knowles Group, 2 generations, where the family's right there doing what the family does, and there's a lot of pride and expertise that comes with that. Institutional knowledge that gets passed on to the next group that makes it work, and that's storm restoration. Greg's got 10 kids, man. He's been busy. And he's got almost all of them working in the business with him. The guys are up there working hard with him on the projects. A couple of his daughters, he brought them and introduced them at one of his events. They're out helping with the adjusters. And that's the thing, too. You need a roofer that's got good relationships with insurance companies, knows what the rules are, what they require, what you've got to do to document a claim so that it's correct. Trust me on this. There's 2 things you don't want to do. You don't want to call the adjuster first because they can just turn you down. They will. And you don't want to file a claim on the other end of that. You don't want to file a claim that's just bogus and try to pull one over on them. They'll cancel you. They will cancel your policies if they think you're going to be that kind of client. It's happened to a lot of good people. So do it right and get everything buttoned up, documented, photographed, demonstrated. You'll get your claim covered, and then you can get that problem fixed. Especially when we get into this rainy weather here the rest of the week. It's just going to be flood-like Thursday and Friday, back to that again. It can expose weaknesses in your roof. If you do see a problem, they've been way behind, and Greg's straight up honest about that. All the construction people and roofers are with this kind of weather. But he's going to get to all these projects, so still work with him in this wet season. If you do have an emergency and you need a quick patch-up or a tarp, he'll get that done for you too. They are hustling. It is Storm Restoration Roofing. One more thought. Put this number somewhere you can get to it if you ever have an emergency and you can't find me. Because a lot of people listen to the show every day and they know I've got a roofer and I've got an air conditioner person and then they'll just reach out and go, who's your banker again? Who's your mortgage guy again? And that's fine. I love it when y'all do that. But sometimes I'm hard to find, especially when I go on vacation. So write this number down, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, Storm Restoration Roofing. All right, starting to hear from a couple people out there that are at the polls and saying that, it's super light, no lines anywhere. Again, the average right now we think so far today is about 10%. Usually you'd think that would help the counting go more quickly because, they're basically, at some of these precincts, if they did it by hand, it'd be 1, 2, 3. All right, this guy's got 3, and then they're done. Because it's just a light turnout. We'll see how it plays out tonight. But y'all keep an eye on it. Let me know what you're thinking. And let me know how you think it's going to go tonight. Whatever y'all want to do if you want to talk about it. It's always, election day is always kind of slow for us because there's no news. Unless we have problems at the polls. We're just waiting. And then tomorrow we'll have plenty to talk about for sure. Here's our buddy Clarissa over on line 2. She's up with the phones. We'll hit the phones pretty hard the rest of the show. Clarissa, what's going on with you?
Hey there. I just left voting at Kingwood Church in Alabaster, and while it was steady, I did ask the poll workers had they been busy today, and they said no, not at all. But what encouraged me, Leland, was the number of people that came out to vote that I saw while I was there that looked like they were under 25 years old. I was really encouraged by that. There's a lot of young people today coming out to vote at my location.
Is that typical at your location, or why do you think there's a difference?
No, I think normally I come to vote a little bit earlier in the day, so maybe I'm used to seeing maybe older people that are coming to vote earlier in the day. So maybe people are getting off work a little bit early to come and vote. But maybe it's because I'm a mom to a 26-year-old and a 23-year-old, but that struck me today that I don't normally see at least 50% of the people that are coming out to vote at the time that I was there looked that age range.
That is encouraging when you study demographically and some of the social stuff. You see the new trends. I guess I was trying to say social trends are that the younger you get in these kids, especially under 25, really the more conservative and the more tuned in they are. They're much more, in some ways, mature than we were at that age because, the world scares them right now and they're paying attention. We had the liberty and the luxury in some days of a big free America that was prosperous, and they're trying to figure things out. So I like that they're getting engaged. I think that's good for the future.
Yeah, I just wanted to call and report that demographic observation to you today.
Thank you, Clarissa. A little demographic. Now, look, it's anecdotal. Thank you, Clarissa. It's anecdotal, but it's true. But I think she is perceptive in that probably the younger folks get out and vote a little bit later in the day. I know that's true at church. Hey, Jay, have you ever noticed this? Our church has 3 different services. If you go to that early one, it's all the old folks, man. Yep. And that's my favorite service, too, because I think like they do. I'm like, man, I want to get up and get this done and have my day and get to church on time. And the younger kids are all there at the late one. The college kids all come to the last one because they're sleeping in. It's just, isn't that life, though? That's how it works.
Yeah, that is pretty much how life is.
Same thing when you go to, you go out to eat, you go out to dinner, go get you some vittles. Oh, I have a confession to make. I ate at a Cracker Barrel.
Say what?
I forgot to admit this to the audience. I wasn't really boycotting them anyway, but I got a buddy. This was a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to share some observations. The crowds are back. Their stock still sucks, and they haven't gotten rid of that woke CEO yet. And the food, I just got to tell you, okay, so there's a Cracker Barrel in between me and one of my best friends, and we constantly are trading guitars and instruments. He's got a bad problem, and I got a bad problem, and we tell each other at least it's not drugs. And so we do deals. Sometimes we do it in the Cracker Barrel parking lot. So and it looks like a drug deal. He'll show up with cash, or I've got something, or he's found something and I want it or whatever. And so we were swapping up some stuff the other day, and we always meet at this Cracker Barrel that's about an hour from each of us. And we had quit going there and started hitting the Waffle House. And one day I had a weak moment. I could smell those biscuits. And I said, well, you want to go ahead and eat breakfast? He said, we're going to eat. I was like, let's eat. My treat. So we went in, and I was like, why not? Let's see what's going on in there these days. And I'm going to tell you, the biscuits were still good, but that food was so bland. They've changed. The menu it's just not this. I want it to be the same. I wish they'd just fix it. So it's not a boycott, but I did go and sample. My meal was okay, but it wasn't anything. If the food had been like this kind of mass-produced and bland, I don't think they'd have become the success they were. Now, the interior was the same, and they brought Uncle Herschel back, and the vibe was the same. We had a sweet little waitress. She was brand new. You'd tell it was like her first day, and I just felt bad for her because she was trying her best. But, man, I did it. I next thing you know, I'm going to be drinking a Bud Light, AJ. I'm kidding. I will not be drinking a Bud Light. I'm a kidder. Hey, Birmingham Broker bringing you the show today. BHAMBroker.com, BHAMBroker.com. That's Craig and Keith and those guys downtown. If it's time for you to do a car deal, and sometimes it's a necessity. Like for us, Mama needed some more room in that car. She needed a third row, so she got rid of her little bougie ride and got her a Mama bus for a little while. And sometimes you just you got the fever. You see something sexy going in the road, it's like, I like that. I'm going to buy one of those, but you got to get rid of the one that you own. Don't go trade it in and get a wholesale price. The dealers are going to give you a wholesale price, and I don't blame them. They're in business. You don't have to give them a wholesale. You don't have to put up with that. Go sell yours with Birmingham Broker. They're going to do all the things. They're going to make it as easy as when you go to trade it in and just handle it for you. You get a check. They make the arrangements, find the buyer, do the haggling, help you price it right so you get the most out of it, and you're better off mathematically. You're better off financially. You're even better positioned to go haggle for a new car at that same dealership, the other dealerships. If you fall in love with one, then now you're not tangling up 2 cars in one deal. It's BHAM Broker. Once you do it, I think you'll be like me. You'll never trade a different way again. Birmingham Broker, BHAMBroker.com, BHAMBroker.com. Back here in just a minute. You ever stepped into your shower, and if you got, especially if you got one of those tub shower combo deals, you ever stepped in there and went, whoa, hey. You get the shampoo out and you take the wrong step and you're sliding, doing the splits. We used to call it splits back in the day. I never could do that. Girls could do it. Boys couldn't do it. Anyway, long story. You don't want to do the splits in the bathtub. I've had friends fall. You know when you fall, what you're going to hit? You're going to hit that faucet. You're going to hit those fixtures. They're down low in a typical tub shower setup. Alabama Baths has a product, and we've talked about it for years, and many of you have done these installs, that changes all that for you. You don't have to be old or immobile to need these services. Sometimes it's just you want a fresh new bathroom, and everybody loves a good stand-up shower. You just feel refreshed and cleaned, and there's the danger level goes way down when the surfaces are designed to be slip-proof, even with all that soap. When you've got shelving where it should be so you can reach and gather your shower things, and you've got handles that are properly placed and angled just the right way so you can stabilize yourself in there. They've even got the plumbing itself is designed to be overhead, and the last time I saw the build out they have down in Pelham, it's got a magnetic head. If you're going to use the wand, it just goes right, just pop it right back up there. It's a whole lot easier than fumbling around and having trouble in there. The bathroom's the second leading cause of injuries in the home next to the kitchens. Kitchens, it's fires, and bathrooms, it's slip and falls. We don't need this in our lives. Get that changed. Alabama Baths will come out, and in 2 days, you got a brand new bathroom. Now, they do the larger projects. They will come and redo the whole bathroom, but just for this little insert project, it's a 2-day deal. The old one is gone. They're ripping that old janky thing out, down to the studs, bringing in their system, installing it for you. They come back to test. There's some companies out there that'll say they'll do it in 1 day because, man, that's not right. You got to put it in, then you got to wait a full day and come back and pressure test. So they do it right at Alabama Baths. Good local family business, couple of generations themselves. John's a veteran, and I always throw this in there these days. If you're connected to the VA, they may even pay for this upgrade in your home if you've got the right kind of service disability. Check on that. It's alabamabaths.com, alabamabaths.com. All right, back to some of the other craziness in the country today. And I know we've got an election day going on, but it seems kind of dead. If y'all want to call about it, call about it. We'll take your phone calls, 545-9950, if you want to give us any observations. There was another arrest today. If you look at all the maniacs that are out there committing atrocities in our country on behalf of the American left, this time it was 15 people. I believe they were out in Minnesota, and they were somehow connected to these anti-ICE activities, blocking federal agents, assaulting them, throwing things at them, and all this stuff, organizing these protests. And again, some of these folks are bouncing from incident site to incident site and making it look like there's some kind of nationwide pushback when it's the same people. And so they arrested these folks today. I'm glad that the feds, they'll be facing mandatory minimums for some of these crimes, and so that's good. So that goes in. To me, all these stories are connected. It's the maniacs on the American left. Let's review. You got the fake cross burning in Chicago by this anti-Trump, anti-MAGA weirdo gay Asian kid, perpetrated a cross burning. And tied to that is the SPLC. The story today about one of their fat chicks that was running an intelligence operation, banging a Klans member. The jokes write themselves. Then again, lunacy in an attempt to create this hostile, violent environment, whether it's real or fake. They're the ones committing the violence. And where they want to perpetrate violence on the other side, they're having to fake it. They're having to prop up things to get the optics they need to go out and continue to further justify their own missions. And then that whips people like this little group of punks out of California and Ohio that were going to shoot up the UFC event on Sunday. This is one ecosystem. Y'all understand that. This is one big thought bubble. These are people, I said it a little while ago, and it was said in a stand-up routine. I'll repeat it. He dropped too many F-bombs in his routine, or I wouldn't be able to find that clip and play it for you. But he was talking about the comedians used to be the best observers of the human condition. And then we sort of made it where you can't be funny anymore, and some of those guys don't take risks. But this guy talked about the worst thing about social media is that dumb people can now talk to each other. They got connections with each other. They used to just be marginalized by being around normal people and told to shut the hell up. And now they can get online and empower themselves by reinforcing their own thought process until, again, they've whipped themselves into creating a terror cell. And this was a close one. This wasn't foreign in nature that we know of right now. It wasn't sponsored or set up, unless you count the fact that some of this propaganda, I don't know, the Epstein stuff and the other stuff that keeps flowing around online that convince what would be normal people that all these conspiracies are true. All that stuff whips these folks into this world where they suddenly feel justified. I brought it up earlier, the guy that shot up the White House Correspondents' Dinner, same thing. He was indoctrinated online, had completely lost touch with reality. He concocted a plan, went and got guns, smuggled himself into that hotel, and tried to shoot the place up. We got lucky on that one. The authorities, he made some mistakes, tripped and fell, and the authorities were there on him. Same thing with this one. The FBI, because of a mother who called in a tip, that's the only reason we didn't see carnage the other night, instead of that incredible spectacle that the country got to see, where the country celebrates itself. And, we've got the World Cup going on. America's just being showcased in such a fine way to the world. You still got these little jerk-offs out there trying to commit these actual acts of violence. So I guess what I'm saying is, and I'm not trying to be doom or gloom about it, but we're going to have another incident. It's predictable. There's somebody out there right now plotting and planning, feeling like if they can carry it out, that it'll somehow change things, and it won't. It will not. If nothing, I'll get into that later. But so now we've got the Antifa arrest, and then there was another weird incident. Let me see if I can find this story. Apparently 5 women, I don't know what this is connected to, and I'll have to do some follow-up on it. In Jersey City, this was, I believe, earlier today, 5 women were taken to the hospital after a car drove by them and threw acid on them in Jersey City, New Jersey. They were standing outside a building when apparently a whole group of people, and this is, let me refresh on that. These are group activities now. It's not just one guy who didn't take his meds for a while and got his ass whooped in school and shoved in a locker and decided he's going to shoot the school up. These people are sitting around rationalizing that these ideas are okay all over our society. So the women were sitting there outside in a group, and this car drove by, and they threw sulfuric acid on them. Police say they believe the women were targeted after another incident where a large group of people had been going back and forth with each other. All 5 victims were transported to the hospital. They say it's non-life threatening, and they're tested for the skin burns. And we don't know much else. This story posted about 4 hours ago, and I haven't heard anything else on it since it was posted earlier. It's a crazy world. Look, it's not like that everywhere. We're still seeing, I mentioned it 2 or 3 times on the show, these incredible images of our country in the World Cup and how we're being received by the rest of the world. I think we're doing a great job as a nation hosting, along with the other Western countries that are hosting this year. And I don't even care about soccer or the World Cup, but I do love my country. And we've had some patriotic displays like we have not seen in years, and we've got to focus on that too. And we got to do these events. The UFC fight went off in dramatic and spectacular fashion, and you got to go back. The Correspondents' Dinner, for example, they're going to go back and do it again. They should. We should not cower to this stuff. We should never cower to this stuff. And again, hats off to the federal authorities that did such good work to be able to roll this operation up and not let it create the carnage that they were seeking to create. Here's Margaret on line 4. We'll take a couple more phone calls before we get to the top. Margaret, what's going on with you?
Yeah, Leland. I'm calling about the runoff election today because yesterday morning I was reading my Google News feed, and what popped up was a long, formal Fox Internet News article saying that Barrymore lost the runoff in spite of President Trump's endorsement. And it went on to say that it really didn't help him, and the other guy won. And I looked at the date on it, and the date on it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
and
saw
so
that.
oh, you saw that? Yeah. So
I saw a story about it. Yeah, I sure did.
Yeah. Well, I emailed the guy, the writer at Fox
Yeah.
News, and I said, hey, our primary's tomorrow. What's going on? Did you guys just write it up both ways and accidentally release the wrong one? And he wrote me back, and he said, that's exactly what happened, and we took it down right away. Well, that yesterday afternoon, I forwarded him the Google News article, and it was still there, and it was top of the Google News about Alabama runoff. And I told him that if Barrymore loses, he should sue Fox News because they put it out there, and this guy's up in the East Coast somewhere. They put it out there that Alabama has lost faith in President Trump's endorsement.
Yeah, they are dying for this story angle tomorrow, and let me talk about that on the other side. Thanks, Margaret. I've got to get this break in here.
Okay.
But
Thanks.
that was something I haven't discussed it yet, but it did happen. I got a little bit of insight over how that happens. I've seen it happen in a newsroom I worked in the past. We'll talk about that back here in just a minute. 545-9950 if y'all want to get on the show. Let's go. Leland Live.